New videos every day.
Well, hello again. I'm Radhia Gleis, Certified Clinical Nutritionist. I told you last time that I'm working on a book, and I really want your feedback on this. So when we get through this afternoon, I want you to sit down and give me your comments. The working title is, Are You Too Lazy to Live? The reason why, I've been in practice for 20 years, and I give advice to people, and they're constantly, they know what to do, but they're constantly challenged. There are 9 subjects that I'm going to bring up. I talked earlier about nutrition, exercise, detoxification, emotional balance, relationships, play, spiritual balance, purpose, sleep, and beliefs or intentions. Okay, those are the chapters, and we're going to take each one of those chapters, and I'm really inviting you to give your comments and give your inputs and tell me your challenges, because what's going to make this book special is trying to take your challenges and help you with not just telling you what to do. I always tell my clients, I ain't your mama. You know what to do. How come you're not doing it? So what I want to do is I want to hear from you of why you're not able to do this. Let's talk about it, and let's see if we can't solve this together. So make sure you make your comments. I want to hear from you. All right, we're going to move on to the subject of relationships. And I've pulled out a couple of things. This is out of my article that I write. I'm a columnist for Whole Health Magazine, and the last couple of months have been a 2-part article, which is basically the outline for my book. And on relationships, I pulled out some really beautiful things that I want to share with you. One, this is from the Pioneer Girl's Handbook, and it's really... It says, the quote is, "A friend hears the song of my heart and sings it to me when my memory fails." Right on. It's very cool. All right, Stephanie Sanders, she's a Ph.D. Associate Director of the Kinsey Institute. You know what that is. Remember Kinsey? They even did a movie last year on Kinsey. This was the Kinsey Report on sex, gender, reproduction in Indiana University. And she shows several examples of how intimacy and health are interconnected. And so this is her quote. "Intimate relationships can mean the difference between life and death because they provide the emotional support that helps people weather physical or psychological adversity." So for many people surviving an illness or an accident or even just trying to stay healthy, intimate relationships can actually be the reason to live. So it's very, very important that we kindle our relationships, our intimate relationships. Cindy Mester, she's a Ph.D. Assistant Professor of Psychology at the University of Texas here. She states this comment: "There are ample studies that provide a good deal of support for the notion that being connected to someone, trusting someone, being able to reveal private thoughts and feelings, serves as a buffer against stress and loneliness. Intimacy can even lessen the adverse effects of certain psychological and medical conditions." So human relationship and interconnectedness is really a key factor in sustaining a lifetime of wellness. And some of us have gone through incidences or experiences in our lives, either a breakup or a divorce or a loss of a relationship, a loss of a family member, a loss of a spouse, and it has been devastating. And as a pastoral counselor and as a holistic practitioner, when I have clients come into my office and they have a myriad of different ailments or illnesses. One that's very, very big. I get folks who come in with chronic fatigue syndrome or fibromyalgia or chronic inflammatory or cardiovascular disease, or if they come in with depression, anxiety, etc. Generally, I'll always ask them a myriad of questions. I want to know who I'm dealing with and what's going on in their life. And, 9 times out of 10, they've either moved to a new place where they don't have a lot of friends. They've gone through and either gone through a divorce or had the death of a spouse or the death of a partner or the death of a friend. And generally this triggers the, as Peter McCarthy puts it, the stress stack. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. That loss of relationship causes a devastation in their life and leads them to disease. We know typically when in relationship or in a marriage, a long-term marriage, usually in the elderly, when a spouse dies, generally it's quite common for the other spouse or the mate to die shortly thereafter. I know that this happened with my mother and father. My father died a year and a half after my mother's death. So relationships are very, very important. And it doesn't have to necessarily be intimate relationships in the sense of sexual relationships or relationships with partnership, but a good friend. I've had good friends in my life. I have one friend of mine. She's a dear friend of mine who I have known since 5th grade. And actually, I'm here in Austin because of this woman. And, there's something about that bond, that relationship, that out of all of the people in my life, I always say that my friend Gay has a wrinkle in the gray matter of my brain because we grew up together. And much of my primary life was my experience with her. And there's a bond there that is just, you can't break that. So I want to talk about relationships. I want to talk about what's going on with your life, what's going on with your relationships. Have you got strong, good relationships, good partnerships? Have you got good friends in your life? And let's talk about what you think is a good relationship, because I want to hear about it. I want to hear about if you can't maintain a good relationship or you don't have a lot of friends, why do you think that's so? And how can we move you in the direction of building good, solid relationships? So let's talk about that some more. I want to hear about your feedback. Very often I have clients who come in that have weight problems or they have metabolic syndrome or they have all of this stuff. And they either have a non-healthy relationship, they either have a spouse or family members that are not in support of them, or they have a codependent relationship, or they don't have any relationships at all. And so much of their time is spent emotionally eating and self-destructive kinds of behavior because they're lonely and they don't have feedback. They don't have somebody to laugh with, somebody to share their life with. I've often said this. I have a lot of successes in my life and a lot of projects that I'm doing and whatever. And living alone and living by myself is okay. I've learned to do that. But man, my friends, they make all of my experiences more joyful. So it's all about laughing and it's all about sharing. So I want to hear share with me. Let's write those comments. I want to hear because this is a chapter that I'm going to be touching upon and I want to see if I can find out what's going on with you, maybe we can talk together and solve some of these problems. Okay? So join me next time. We're going to be continuing on with this subject. Make sure that if you have any questions, you can visit my website, which is advancedhealthinstitute.com. Make your comments. When you get off, push that magic button. If you haven't signed on to Psychetruth, make sure that you sign on so that you can give us feedback and participate.
There are over 350 videos on our channel, and I doubt you've seen them all. And the topics range from weight loss, nutrition, sexual health, all the way to psychology and mind control, and anywhere in between. And I think if you check them out, you're going to find some really interesting stuff.